everybody, it's Monika Davis, and I am live again today. Today's Monday, January 12th, and I have my desktop calendar ready for 2026, so I wanted to show you that today. I've been making these for many years, and I don't know, I've gotten so used to having mine in front of me when I'm working at my desk, and I know a lot of other people I know have as well. I do get requests for this quite frequently, but I usually get it ready in January, so this is about when I normally have it ready. It is a quarterly calendar. It's got 4 panels. Each one shows a different quarter of the year, and then halfway through the year we do a flip, and then we get the last 2 quarters. It's built up on a base piece, and I use 4 different, this time I kind of used 4 different suites of products, so I will be showing those to you. And the calendar stands up like this, and you have to have what I call the kickstand, because if you don't, eventually this kind of falls down. So you want to have this piece which slides in here, and then it will stay standing. You can adjust this piece if you'd rather it have a larger footprint versus a smaller footprint. You could just change how this piece is scored. That's up to you. I'll tell you the measurements for what I am doing. Let me grab my measurement sheet. Where I can see it. The calendar panels, this is something my son created, a little program for me to create these little strips, and so every year I go and make the New Year's strips and create a PDF file for those. So I'll be sending that PDF file out to those that order from me in January. If you're part of my team, it will be on my team page. And if you're interested in getting a packet, let me know. I've got to figure out the price of the packet and shipping, etc. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show you the calendar panels. So it's up on one sheet like this, and I kind of want to show you how I cut it, because I don't really measure it exactly. I kind of use the I don't know, the edge of this plastic piece and kind of try to line it up. So I try to line this end up with the end of the plastic, and then I can cut it, and it leaves just a small edge right there. I want a very narrow little edge. So we're going to do the 2 sides. Looks like I need a sharper blade. So I don't know that you can see that, but what I'm doing is I'm lining up that line right under the edge of this side of my cutter, and then cutting, and it leaves, depending on how close, I got a little closer on that side than I did on this one. And then I'm going to go along the bottom here we're just going to go along the bottom of each one. I usually do it on my bigger guillotine cutter, but I wanted to show you with the paper trimmer. So you want just that small edge right there. And I'll tell you kind of the measurement in just a second, because it's kind of an approximate measurement. And then we're going to cut this last piece. All right, so that's the cutting of the calendar strips. So these turn out to be just barely over 2 inches this way and right around 6 3/4 inches this way. That's approximately the size. And like I said, I don't really measure them exactly. I kind of do it on my cutter. So I have a base. The base of the calendar this is 8 inches wide this way, and it's 8.5 inches this way, and then it's scored at 4 1/4. And then you have these strips that the calendar panels go on. These are 7 inches by 2 1/4. So I'm going to glue one of these on here onto each of those. So you need 4 of those pieces. And then my kickstand piece is 3 inches by 2 inches, and it's scored at 1 2 inches. So that's the kickstand piece. And then you're going to have designer series paper for each panel, a little piece of embossed cardstock. So I'm going to just go ahead and glue these down. Hey Margie, hello. Hope y'all had a good weekend. I got to catch up with some friends, some that I hadn't seen in a really long time. I think one friend I saw this weekend, it's been a couple years, several years I think since I've seen her, so that was nice. My blade didn't do the best job cutting there. I need to get a new blade in my trimmer. So if you find that your trimmer is leaving these little fuzzies, that's when you need a new blade. So if you want to get rid of those fuzzies, just kind of run your scissors down along the edge. That's just from having a blade that wasn't as sharp as it needed to be. So I met with my old neighborhood where I used to live. We have a Pekino group now that started as a bunco group like 30 years ago. And a few of us are still like original OG members of that original bunco group. And then over the years, people have moved on and we've added different people. We eventually switched from playing bunco to playing Pekino so that we didn't always have to have 12 people. And anyway, that was fun to do this weekend. We're still meeting most months of the year. Not everyone can always come. And we're all, many of us, or not many of us, some of the group's been grandmas. Another part of the group, we're entering our grandma era. So that's where I am at. One of the ladies, her daughter had the baby this week, so she ended up not joining us. My new grandbaby is now, he is 8 weeks old. Well, no, today he would be 9 weeks old. So here we go. All right, so we've got our 4 quarters. So now we're going to work on building each one. So let me move these out of the way. I'm going to bring in my base piece, and then we are going to start with the January, February, March panel. And what I used for that one, what I decided to use was this Peaceful Garden Designer Series paper. This came out of our holiday mini catalog. The paper is still available, as are these little blue flowers, which I think are so pretty. So I used the blue flowers, and then because sometimes I use paper that's only the 6x6 size, I designed this calendar so it used a 6x4 inch piece of Designer Series paper, and then the other 2 inches I fill in with an embossed piece. And I did use the coordinating embossing folder that goes with this paper, which is called Peaceful Greenery Embossing Folder. I did look though, and it looks like it was on the last chance list, and I think it must have sold out. So you could, if you're trying to recreate this and you don't have this embossing folder, just pick a different one. Doesn't matter which embossing folder you use, whatever you would like. So that's the one I'm using, and I chose to use this paper with kind of the blues, a little bit of cloud cover, the blue and white, because I thought it looked kind of wintry and it matched my blue embellishments. So I kept the calendar pretty simple. Now you could come back and add in like the dies. Maybe I may come back and add a dove. I'm trying to figure out where to put this, but I'm not going to do that right now. We're going to do this as is. So my biggest tip for you is that when you put these Designer Series papers on, hold it in your hand so that this is the top. So whichever, if it's a piece like this one where it doesn't matter, it won't matter which way you hold it. If you've got a piece that's directional, you want the top to be up here, and you want to put your hand like this, and you want to turn it to the back and leave your hand there and do your glue around the 2 sides and the top only. Don't glue along the bottom, because you need the bottom open so that you can add, you need a place for your kickstand. Now if you forget on your first side, that's okay, don't panic, as long as one of the sides is not glued along the bottom so that you can put your kickstand in there. So I'm going to put this on here. I kind of put it all the way to the edge on the left, and I've got a little bit of black showing on the top and the bottom. So we're going to do that, and then we've got our embossed piece. So this one can be glued all the way down. And we're gonna line that up. It should line up right along the right hand side. and then meet up with the designer series paper. So we've got that. Then we're going to take our calendar panel and some dimensionals. And add that with dimensionals. I do have some of those die cut doves somewhere. I'll have to find them because I think I'll add a dove on here just because I can. So you can decorate it up. One year I added little inspirational little messages. So we're going to put this one right here. So that's going to go just like that, and then we're going to finish with some of the blue, the little blue flowers. One of those. One of those. Looking forward to seeing pictures of your grandson. Well, I do have lots of pictures, but they don't want me to post them online, so I am not. I haven't done that, but I've shown them to everybody in person that I have seen. He is a cute boy, for sure. I just am not posting them online, so I have to do what they want. So until they say I can, I am not going to do that. All right, so we've got January, February, March. That's our first side. So we're ready to go here. I'm going to go ahead and fold that real good. All right, now we are going to turn our calendar around so that we can work on the next side, which is the April, May, June. And for this one, I am using the products from the January online exclusives suite called Lovely Blossoms Suite Collection. So I've got the paper. This is a peek at the paper pack, and I chose to use this sheet for the calendar. And then there's an embossing folder that goes with it. It's called the Lovely Stripes. So there's stripes, but the little stripes have like polka dots on them. So I'll show you that up close in a minute. And then these are called the Moody Palette Glossy Dots. So that is what we're using for this next piece. Oops. So that's from the online exclusives. Those were that came out last week. So we've got our paper. Here is this striped, Lovely Stripes folder. Let's see if you can I show you that up close? See the little polka dots? There's little polka dots on these little stripes. All right, so here we go. So this paper has a direction to it, so I want my flowers going up. I'm going to put my hand here. I'm going to leave my hand there. I'm going to glue the sides. I'm going to glue the top and the other side. No glue on the bottom. And we're going to put this all the way to the left edge, leaving a little bit at the top and the bottom. And then this is Cloud Cover that I did with the embossing folder. And we're going to put that right there. A little shy of my edge. All right. April, May, June calendar piece. So once you have everything cut and you've got your calendar panels, you know, this comes together very quickly. Right, we're going to stick this one here, and then we are going to grab some of our dots. So I used the Secret C ones on this one, but I think I'm going to use these old olive ones this time. Some right there. I like to do threes in a kind of in a triangle when I add the embellishments. All right, there we have April, May, and June. So if your calendar is sitting on your desk like this and you're at April, May, June, and you need to just take a peek at July, you would just lift this up. So you want the July piece to be on this side. All right. So I want to go from here, and I'm going to flip this way to do July. Now, if that doesn't matter to you, then don't worry about it. It could be on either side. But the purpose is that if your calendar was sitting on your desk like this, and you had April, May, June, and you just needed to take a quick peek at the month's July, at the next month, you wouldn't have to flip it. You could just lift up like that. So hopefully that makes sense. So for July, we're using a new suite. This one is in the new mini catalog that just came out. This is called Cute as a Bug. And we're using this paper with the berries, strawberries and blackberries, but there's all kinds of cute paper in here. There's not an embossing folder with this suite, so I decided to use the Forever Plaid 3D because it reminded me of like a plaid picnic blanket, but any embossing folder would work. And then I did pull in these adorable ladybug. Look at these cute ladybug shapes. Now these have already been extremely popular, and I think right this minute they are out of stock, but there'll be more coming in. So be sure to grab those up. You can sign up for the back in stock notice. And now you actually have the option on your account to sign up for notifications, and it's like a notification page. So for the things that are out of stock, you can mark which ones, and it will send you an email when it's back in stock, and then you can click right from that email to the link to take you to the store to add it to your cart. They keep making it easier and easier. So I may come back and I'm going to use the little ladybugs, but the dies have the different berries. They've got butterflies and snails and dragonflies, the mushrooms, all the little critters. I think this little suite is very cute. I'm going to be using more of that in the future. But for today, we are using this piece right here. I'm going to hold my hand like this in the center. I'm going to add my glue to the sides, to the top, to the side. And then we're going to put this one on the left, leaving a small edge at the top and the bottom. And then we've got our Poppy Parade panel that I embossed. There, and then we will add our calendar. So July, August, September, when we have nice fresh berries out. I remember as a kid going in the woods, we had blackberry bushes and we would go pick blackberries. And boy, you had to be careful because they've got the little stickers on them, and then you have to make sure you didn't come home with chiggers, those little tiny, tiny bugs. We'd have to get cleaned back up. But we'd get scratches from the briars on the blackberry bush. All right. We're going to put that right there. And then we're going to add these fun ladybugs. Him to let go. There we go. We'll put one down there. We'll put one right here. There's also just some clear circles in here. And where do I want? Alright, I think these are my favorite. So cute. Luckily I think I've got 2 packages right now. So I'll have to get more once they're back in stock. Alright, we are done. We need to get a good fold in this direction. Hey Molly. Alright. That's our third one done. Now we're going to go to the 4th side. And so on this 4th side, I used, I went to this suite in the annual catalog. I didn't even plan it, but I managed to get in the Holiday Mini, the online exclusives, the new Spring Mini, and the annual catalog. So I'm using this suite called the Beautiful Gallery Suite, and the paper from this. Now you could choose any one of these designs. So this is a 6x6 pack, and let me pull this up here. So for this one, I use this piece right here, and then for the one I'm making now, I'm going to use this paper right here. But you could use, I mean, you could even use the florals. You could use the back sides if you prefer. They're kind of wallpaper looking. So we're going to compare those 2 different designs. And then the embossing folder I'm using is called Beautiful Pattern. The suite has an embossing folder. I just don't have it myself. So that's why I didn't use it. So I pulled in this Beautiful Pattern one, and I'm not even sure. Let me see what that belongs to. Let's see if that is in here. It is not. It's not from the annual catalog, so I don't remember what that's from. Let's see if it's from something in the mini. Embossing folder. Nope, it's not from the new mini. So this is probably from another online exclusive that came out sometime this year. And then I am using these embellishments called the pressed flowers. They're pretty heavy. So if you're making cards that you're mailing and you don't want to add weight, don't use these, because these are quite heavy compared to some of our other embellishments. And these come in 2 sizes. Because of their weight, they've shifted on the little plastic sheet. All right, so that's the beautiful gallery suite. It looked like this. It came out in this annual catalog last year. All right, there's that. Okay, so I'm going to use this piece this time. Get my sides glued down. Pretty much any of these you could have used different papers from the paper packs. Oh, here's this, that's the embossing folder I used. The calendar part, I created the calendar part using a program that my son made for me. So the calendar was something that I made. So I'll be sending that in an email to everyone that orders from me this month. And I've got it on my team, it'll be added to my team page. And then if you're interested in ordering a packet with all the supplies, including the printed calendar, let me know, and I've got to figure out how much that costs to mail. I haven't done that yet. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I want to do these on dimensionals. Sorry, I got distracted. The postage is going up. They keep changing the postage. I don't know. Will they ever stop increasing postage costs? I'm not sure if they ever will, but that I've got to figure out the cost for a kit, and then I'll get that posted as well. So here is this guy right there. All right, and we have these to add. One big one, one little guy. I'll do one more big one up here. That gives me my triangle. All right, so that's the one with this paper, and that one was with this paper. So 2 different designs. I think they look equally nice. You could pick any of those prints. So that is our last quarter. So then I've got my kickstand, which I'm going to fold. And then if you did it the way I said, where you left these bottoms open, then you should be able to slide one on each side. So that gives me my standing calendar. So I've got it for the whole year. So we will, right now we've got January, February, March. We'll put that up. We'll flip it at the end of March when we get to April. Then at our 6 months, we will turn it over and we'll swap over to the other side. I'll leave this off for now. So you can see all, let me do it this way. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So that's it. Yeah, the calendar itself is something you can only get from me because I created it. It's not something you buy in the store, but I've got some different ways to get that and place an order. if you're on my team and if you want to order a packet. So just send me a note if you want to order a packet, and I will figure out the cost. It's probably going to be roughly $15, I think, is what the cost of the packet. So you would get the cardstock, the designer paper, the calendar, the embellishments, everything will be cut. These will be embossed. And yeah, so you might have, depending on how much paper or interest I have, you might get a different paper design if I run out of paper. So, all right. You guys have a good day. I'm going to update the description once I get all that information. I ended up having to take River to the vet this morning, so I was a little late. I wasn't even sure I was going to get back, but I did. He's got, I thought he might have a hernia, but it was actually they said it's just a little fatty spot. So if you want to order from me, my website is monika.stampinup.net. That's where you can place your orders. Remember, we have, if your order is $20 or more, you earn Stampin' rewards. Make sure you sign in and create your account. If your order is $50, you get a bonus day coupon for every $50 that you spend. And if your order is $75 or more, you qualify to get the product of the month for just $5. And this month is a stamp set. It's a very useful stamp set. The Fabulous Sayings, I think is what the name of it is. So, all right. Have a great week. Next week, see, I'm looking at my calendar in front of me, but that's my 2025, and I need to look here. The 19th, I might be live again on the 19th, and if I'm not live, I gotta look at my calendar. If I'm not live, I'll have a video that posts. So you guys have a great week, and I will see you next time. I'm in love with these little ladybugs. All right, bye you guys.